Okay, this is basically a shower that was started by a couple gentlemen. They also did the other bathroom, or they started that anyway after they got this started, and I'm going to show you that shortly. This one has some issues, so let me start out on saying I didn't do any of this prep work, and the way I see it is the way that I found it. Apparently this house was built in 1978. This curb is a 2x6 on its side. Why, I don't know, with another 2x6 on the inside. I'm assuming there was two of them that were that old, and maybe this one was scabbed in by whoever did the prep, and that's kind of weird. So I'm not going to go back with that. I'm going to actually take that out. In fact, it rocks. So I don't mean like it's really cool, I mean it rocks, and so I would never have used that curb. That's going to go out, and I'm going to use some 2x4 stacked 3 high, which I normally do. There was some 2x4s scabbed into the studs for blocking, which I usually use 2x6s. And so way back in 1978 somebody had the bright idea to use blocking, which, you know, I've never seen before in a shower this old. So although I prefer 2x6s, I still want something for my pan, you know, to rest up against, which is why I use 2x6s. But the 2x4s are here already, so I'm just going to go ahead and go with that. And then, you know, my pan liner will go on each of these studs. I'll attach it to that. Usually I like to attach it also to the top of the 2x6s, but you know, that's just a little quirk thing that I do. I often see no blocking at all, so that they have something that's good enough. So they came in with hardy board, and apparently didn't do the cuts exactly. Hardy board is kind of funny to work with. You actually have to cut it with a saw. You can't score it and snap it the way they say you can, because you always end up with damaged edges. But these edges don't match up to any of these boards that they were going to make a niche out of to begin with. They don't line up there, and they certainly don't line up here either. This one is way off. The board has lippage, which is kind of weird. I've never seen board having lippage before, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm going to take all this stuff out and kind of start over with that. I'm not really feeling the two niche thing. I think that was the guy that came in before who decided to do on center 16 studs are generally 16 on center, and then for whatever reason they decided to put another one in here again with the studs being 16 on center here and here. They just use the side studs for this niche, and as a rule, unless I'm told otherwise, I build a 30-inch niche. So I would just cut out this portion of the stud and use this other stud right here and have an elongated one niche instead of having two. In addition, this is only 12 inches from top to bottom, and 12 inches really should be the finished product. By the time you put in your wall board and your tile and the thin set and all that stuff, this is probably going to be 11. So that's going to be corrected as well. Somebody else did the plumbing and redid, I think, no, they didn't redo the blocking. So the blocking was the same. This is the old plumbing that came up. You see where they notched out on the 2x8 down there. So that was the old plumbing. It looks like they scabbed in at this point right here to do the new plumbing. So it's kind of a short distance between the studs here. Usually there's one in the middle over here. I don't know what was going on, but it's enough stud still that I can work with when I bring a board across here, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. Sometimes I talk out loud. In other words, I'm thinking about things as I say them. Another thing I don't like is the drain. Thought this was a bathtub at one point, and from 1978 it may very well have been a bathtub, because there was a little build out here and a little build out here, which makes no sense. The only reason for that would be they needed 60 inches to go across. So I'm thinking there must have been a bathtub here before, including the fact that there was a drain way down here at the end. So I think between 1978, maybe in the 80s or 90s, they built a shower, which is what apparently was here before. But then again, the customer also says there was pink tile. Pink tile is pretty indicative of green and pink tile from the 70s. So again, I don't know why the drain is here. So it looks like a new drain from, I guess, the last renovation they did, or maybe the plumber came in, the same guy that did the valve, maybe put the drain here. But I'm going to move that to center because we're upstairs and there's no reason not to. I don't really like doing drains down here when I don't have to, because that means my mortar buildup is going to be really thick in the back and have to slope down to this point here, and you know, it's just not consistent. So the new drain should be about center, so I'm going to cut out all this floor and put that in there. And then once all the prep is done and the new shower pan liner is in, I poured the pan and I put the wallboard up and the niche and all that stuff, then I can get started doing the tiling. The tiling is going to be porcelain, a 12 by 24. It's going to be staggered, and it is a shiny porcelain. It almost looks like marble, and I'm going to show you that on the other bathroom because they actually started that. So it'll start here and it'll just be staggered brick pattern all the way across, and that's it. And then a 2 by 2, which I think is over here. The 2 by 2 will be on the floor inside the shower, so that's a good choice for that. And that's what I'm doing. I'll be doing the floor eventually also with that staggered tile going this direction, and then eventually I guess there'll be a vanity, double vanity here, and the toilet will get reset, which is over here. So that's it on this. This is for all intents and purposes a master bathroom, and I will show you the hall bathroom momentarily. And this is the second bathroom. Second bathroom turned out pretty good. This is also a 12 by 24 porcelain tile, very glassy type surface, so it kind of looks like marble. So that got put in. New vanity, 60-inch vanity got put in as well. With I didn't do this part. I put the vanity in, and the faucets plumbed it in and all that stuff. But it turned out pretty good. That's a granite guy came in and did that after the fact. So this is, of course, my work. This is staggered, 12 by 24 staggered up to the closet and up the doorway. And this is the shower, which I ended up kind of doing from scratch. When I first started, it was just had started the 2 by 4 process, or the 2 by 6, I guess, as it were. That was kind of sideways and all that stuff, so I took all that out and started from scratch. So the tile runs in through here. Of course, I did baseboard and quarter round all the way also. The tile runs all the way here and then stops, and we did a contiguous curb top, which I like to go on top. That precludes any grout lines. I didn't have to have 3 or 4 grout lines on the top of the curb, so that turned out pretty well. 2 by 2 tile on the bottom here. As I said before, I believe at one point this was a tub, so I had no choice but to bring the drain down here. I actually tried to move it center and also get it off the edge here because it's not center from the depth either, and I couldn't do that because there's a floor joist that runs along here, and it stopped me from doing anything. I couldn't go through the floor joist. I thought I could until I saw the ductwork. So there's big giant ductwork that runs right through here on the floor, so it stopped me from doing what I wanted to with the drain, so I had to put it there, which is where it was to begin with apparently. And so then of course I always do the niche with the bullnose pieces to frame it out, and then use the 2 by 2 on the back of the niche as well. And of course the tile goes all over the ceiling with the new shower fixture included, as I always do. So turned out pretty good. Put the shower doors in. Normally I don't do the glass because people are doing frameless glass, so in this case the customer bought this prefab sliders, and so I went ahead and put those in for him. And you know what it was, or I guess what it used to be, which I wasn't aware of, from 1978 until now, it's very much updated and very nice and modern. And of course had a low flow toilet in both bathrooms, so number 1 and 2 buttons on there, so that turned out really well too. I like that. So that's it on here. Turned out really well for, I think, the 2 bathrooms I did. Took about 9 days. And I'm going to go into the other one.